Hi, Jarmo. Thanks for doing this. A question just about, obviously this has been in the works for a while, but with what happened Thursday night, how did those events maybe accelerate this process? Did they affect the timing of it?
No, not really. We've been working on this for a while, and we always said that it could take a while until we find the right deal. But if the right deal is on the table, we're ready to move fast. So it just everything came together, and we're happy with the deal.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Yeah, hey, Jarmo. Was the framework of this deal in place for a while, or did, like you said, did all of this just kind of come together, recently?
There's always little details that you have to iron out, and so that's why we had the dialogue going for a while with Kevin Cheveldayoff in Winnipeg, and finally got it all together today and finalized the deal.
What's the what is your feeling on this right now? Just personally, I mean, you drafted Pierre-Luc. He developed the way you thought he would develop. Obviously, with him wanting out, I mean, is this a bittersweet feeling? I mean, you're getting good players back, but obviously you had to get rid of Pierre-Luc to get him.
Not bittersweet at all. We're really excited here. I can tell you right from the draft, we drafted Pierre-Luc at 3 and Patrik Laine was number 2. We would have given a lot to move up from 3 to 2 at that time, and we're very excited to have Patrik Laine join us. And there's a price to be paid for an elite player like he is, and I think Jack Roslovic's going to be a huge part of this whole trade. He's a guy that we wanted to draft, couldn't get it done. Obviously, there's other teams that have their turn too, and we couldn't get to him. We've every time we've had any trade talks with Winnipeg, I've asked him about Jack Roslovic. He's a hometown boy, and we think he can play center in the National Hockey League, and he's got tremendous speed and skill and hockey sense. So we were very excited to have both those players join the Blue Jackets.
Next, we'll go to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thanks, Todd. Good morning, Jarmo. Your team it's no secret, has struggled to score goals. It's been said you have to work so hard to score goals. Laine may be, with apologies to Rick Nash, the most accomplished goal scorer that this franchise has ever seen. Tell me just how having that element in your lineup, that guy that can score goals from anywhere on the ice, changes how you can play and maybe gives you a larger margin for error in some games.
Yeah, I think both of those guys will bring offense to our team. Jack Roslovic's, I think he had 27 points last year. His ice time has increased a little bit, but Winnipeg has a lot of skilled forwards. So I think he's going to get a more offensive role with our team. Obviously, he's going to have to earn that. But Patrik Laine is just a pure goal scorer. He scored 36 goals when he was 18 years old in the National Hockey League. I think his best year is 44 goals. And he's just, I've known him since he was 16 years old, watched him play in Finland, win the championship there, being one of the top scorers and MVP of the World Junior when they won gold, and coming to the National Hockey League and having done what he's done so far, and he's still very young. So those are all exciting things. I think he's an excellent power play player, and often people think of him as a shooter, which he is a great shooter, but he's also a great passer, and those things excite me a lot. We have a weapon for a power play that we may have not had before, but it's going to take a 5-man unit, and I think that we've had some really good moments in the power play this year, even though we've only scored 1 goal so far in it. But this is going to add, both those guys potentially will add into our skill, offense, and power play.
How big of a hole, Jarmo, does this create for you down the middle? You mentioned you think Roslovic can play center. Texier's played there a little bit. Do you need short term to consider moving Jenner back into the middle, or will you get by with these players you have right now?
No, we have Mikko Koivu coming back on Tuesday. So we'll have Texier's played center, Jack Roslovic play center, Max Domi, Mikko Koivu, Riley Nash, Boone Jenner can play center. Our depth at that position is fine, and the roles will evolve depending on the guys' play and how they perform. But like I said, we expect Jack Roslovic to be able to play center for us. He's a good playmaker. He's a good passer. He's got great speed. And, but again, he's going to have to earn his ice time from the coach. we fully believe that he's going to add to our center position and bring skill down the middle, and time will tell how it goes.
Next, we'll go to Dave Metzold. Go ahead, Metzi.
Jarmo, if you just get the details of when these guys will be available to be a part of the lineup.
Well, Jack Roslovic's already basically joined our COVID protocol and getting tested. So, we'll announce when he's available after. I think it should be a 48-hour process with getting tested and cleared. And, Patrik Laine is a little bit more complicated. He's day-to-day injured right now on IR retroactively. He's been there for a week. But there's also a visa process that he has to go through. So he has to get a working visa for US and then go through the protocol once he arrives here. But we'll do everything we can to speed up that process, and he'll get here when he gets here.
Are you glad to have, for lack of a better term, some of the drama behind you, where you can just focus on some of your more day-to-day opportunities now and build this hockey team the way you want to?
You know what? Hockey there's drama every day, and sometimes that unites you and makes you a better team, and sometimes it doesn't. And we have 20 guys in the locker room, and we've always had a really strong room. I've said it from the start of this whole process that our room will handle it. We have great leadership in there, and that's the only thing that I'm worried about, is that how we are as a team. One individual cannot break that spirit, break that room, and we're going to always make sure of that too, to support the leadership and the players we have here who want to be here and be part of this.
Next, we'll go to Tom Galiti, NHL.com. Go ahead, Tom.
Morning, Jarmo. You talked about watching Patrik since he was younger. Do you have a relationship with him, and do you anticipate maybe having a smoother situation with his contract? Are you worried at all about his contract being up after this season, as far as his future with Columbus?
No, not at all. We have his rights for this year and 2 more after this, and we're going to start building a long-term relationship with him. I know him personally a little bit because I was in the management team of the 2016 World Cup, and he played on that team as an 18-year-old. And, everything that I know about him, he's a good kid. He's a good teammate. We've obviously done our homework on that too. And former Blue Jacket Mark Letestu, who I consider a character guy, spoke very highly of him as a teammate, for example. And those are important pieces of information that we gather before we make trades like this. But, he's, like I said, we're going to try to build a long-term relationship with him, and I'm not concerned. And when I talked to him, he sounded very excited to come to Columbus. So it's a great start.
To follow up, it was reported that these guys wanted to change the scenery. Do you think you just both of you found a good fit that way, as far as making the best of a situation where guys wanted to change scenery and you found maybe some good players that both could help both teams in this case? Yeah,
I think the best trades are always the type of trades that help both teams. And I think in this case, that's what happened. And they're going to get a good player. We're going to get 2 good players, and we both move on.
Okay, next we'll go to Guillaume Lefrancois. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jarmo. You mentioned earlier your depth at center, but obviously Luke was a bona fide top 6 center. I just wanted to know to what extent was a priority of yours to try and get a top 6 center in that trade, and if you think maybe Jack can become that.
Well, like I said, time will tell. We think highly of both players we got, and we think Jarek Roslovic can play center, and Patrik Laine will bring some goal scoring and special teams ability here, and I think we strengthen our team.
Next, we'll go to Neil McHale. Go ahead, Neil.
Hi, Jarmo. I appreciate you doing this today. I'm just curious how involved, if any, your head coach was in this, and how much can you dispel this whole idea that I think some of us think it was, player versus coach in this whole saga here?
No, it's not. It's the management team that we do this together. I always stay in communication with the head coach, obviously, because it's the team that he coaches. So we discuss ideas. I keep him up to date on what's going on with different processes, but it's the management team and me ultimately who makes the decision on a trade like this.
Okay, looks like we have a couple more for Jarmo, and then we may have one or two in finish. So we'll go to Dave Metzel. Go ahead, Dave.
Nope, my mistake. Forgot to put my hand down. Sorry, guys.
Okay, we'll go to Jeff Swoboda. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Jarmo. Obviously, you don't acquire players because they are from Columbus, but there is an obvious tie there with Jack. And just how nice is it to kind of have that background with him? I'm sure you've been able to talk to a lot of people in the community, the Columbus community, that know what this kid's all about, and you know what he's all about, and just have that tie there to what he's, kind of his background.
Yeah, it's an added bonus. Obviously, we don't make trades based on where the guys are from or what their hometown is. But like I said, when we like the player and he's from here, that's an added bonus. And I'm sure Jack's the first guy to appreciate what Columbus is all about and how great of a city this is, how great our fans are. And when I talked to Patrik Laine, he actually told me that Jack's always been a big advocate of the city of Columbus and the Blue Jackets and spoken very highly of both of them. So that's a great start.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go one more, and then we'll go to Finland. Let's go with Brian Hedge. Go ahead, Hedge.
Hey, Jarmo, I was just wondering if I missed this earlier. I apologize, but how far along are you on contract stuff with Jack? Are you pretty close with that? And also Laine, have you guys started talking on Laine at all?
Well, I believe we announced that we've already agreed to terms with Jack. And
I missed that. Sorry.
And we'll start there. Like I said, we'll start the long-term process, building a long-term relationship with Patrik Laine as soon as he gets here. And I think we've already started. I spent a good amount of time on the phone with him, and that was one subject that I told him that I want to build this into a long-term relationship with him, and so we've started, and it's going to start once he gets here even further. But the main priority is just to get him in the lineup and get him playing and helping us.
All right, thanks, everybody. We've got one more, I think, here from Varpul Sibelman.
Hei Jarmo.
Hei.
Sopiiko, jos mä kysyn suomeksi?
Sopii varmasti.
No niin, joo. Siis tämä on menossa NHL:n suomenkielisille sivuille. Mulla on kaksiosainen kysymys. Ootko jo ehtinyt Patrik Laineen kanssa jutella tästä kaupasta? Miltä se hänestä tuntuu? Ja sitten kun hän teille saapuu, niin mitä odotat häneltä tai mitä hän tuo teidän joukkueeseen?
Joo, me ollaan juteltu ja hän oli tosi iloinen ja innostunut aiheesta. Ja hän tuo meidän joukkueeseen tietenkin maalintekotaitoa, maalintekovoimaa, ylivoimataitoa, hyökkäysvoimaa. Hän on erinomainen hyökkäyspään pelaaja, sen tietää varmasti jokainen. Ja useat miettii, että Patrik Laine on tosi hyvä ampuja, mutta hän on myös erinomainen syöttäjä, näkee jään todella hienosti ja pystyy antaa hyökkäyspäänsä luovia syöttöjä ja näkee kentän erittäin hyvin. Että hän tuo paljon meidän joukkueeseen. Hän on isokokoinen kaveri, joka on niin kuin, pysyy kiekossa hyvin, pystyy suojaamaan ja näin poispäin. Monia eri asioita, mitä hän tuo meille, mutta varmasti tämä maalinteko ja hyökkäyspään osaaminen on niitä tärkeimpiä.
Hyvä. Kiitos ja hei, kaikkea hyvää.
Kiitos samoin.